This is my first year in Havana, so I have not been able to see how things have changed. But while we were there, if we were able to speak to somebody about the embargo, it took a while, I think, for someone to feel comfortable to talk about it. But they said that it was the worst it's ever been because our current administration is pretty aggressive in terms of keeping the embargo. But I think the reason why the embargo is so harsh is because they're running out of resources. They've had to live with it for about 60 years. So they're running out of any way to replenish the things that they have. And I don't know too much about the details of the embargo, but we went to this conference after the May Day parade. We went to a conference on the Friday after Thursday's May Day, and a lot of people at the conference were talking about how the embargo is very creative. There's creative ways to make it harsh for the Cuban people. And they can't think of a way it can get worse, but they think that possibly there could be a creative way to make it worse. But one of the ways it's hard is that other countries are punished if they interact with Cuba, if they try to help Cuba or to do trade with Cuba. And I think that the harshness of the embargo is especially seen with their needs for food and medical supplies and medical care. Like Joe suggested, it's just like they really need like dialysis machines, they need mammogram machines, they need syringes, they need gloves. And I don't know, it's harsh. I want to say that like Cuban people are very prideful and or like not prideful, I don't want to put it that way. They have a lot of pride in their island. They like to, there's a phrase that say, I love my island. And they have a lot of love for the country, and I love Cuba too. And it's just heartbreaking how hard the embargo affects them, and how like they need to be creative too on their end to figure out and how to live under this embargo. And they're very creative and industrious themselves. But it's like I think the embargo is about 60 years old, and they're really just running out of ways to take care of themselves with that embargo.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Joe, you mentioned some specifics. I think in speaking to doctors, we learned about the traditional medicine that they've developed, and with the lack of Western medicine, that was a 40-year-old decision to really invest in what Cubans for a long time had been doing, that had been kind of erased by colonialism. And something that the doctors have formed is that, yes, we have so much traditional medicine that we use from our natural resources, and people should have options, should have both options. They should both have access to the Western medicine and the others. And then also seeing the ways that the doctors were making their own hand sanitizer every single day. It gets sent by the labs to the maternity home so that they can, and that's not something that most Cubans have access to. That's something that's prioritized for this Center for Women with at-risk pregnancies. There's a lot of ways that Cubans are being very innovative, and at the same, imagine given all their innovations to still promote health and well-being with the embargo, imagine what they can accomplish without it. And so I think I want to imbue that in us as those of us fight to the end of the decade. It's not just us fighting to end Cuban suffering, it's fighting to help unleash Cuban innovation further than it already has.